What's good, you guys? It's the PTE Sports coming at you again with a quick little video on my predictions for the first round of this year's NBA playoffs race. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down there for more content like this video and leave a comment down below letting me know who you think will move on. We're going to kick things off with the Eastern Conference, the lesser of the two conferences, and we're going to kick this off with the number 1 Indiana Pacers against the number 8 Atlanta Hawks. I want to start this video off by saying this. Do not underestimate this Atlanta team. They've won their last 7 to 10 games, 2 of those wins being against Indiana and Miami. So don't be too surprised if they play spoiler this early in the playoffs. We know Indiana has been far from impressive over the last several weeks. They are 8-10 in the month of March. But I feel that now that the playoffs have started, they can get back to what they used to be, a dominating team on the floor, and I have the Pacers winning in 6. The Hawks will get victories in Atlanta, but as far as beating Indy on the road, it'll be too tough a task for the Hawks this season. Moving on to the number 2 Miami Heat battling the number 7 Charlotte Bobcats, I see this series as the Heat's momentum towards a potential Eastern Conference semifinal against the Brooklyn Nets, who have beaten the Heat all 6 times they've met this season. The way the Bobcats have been playing lately will definitely help them in the series, and Al Jefferson has been proving to be undeniably unguardable. He's averaged 26 points and 13 rebounds over his last 10 games, and with Kemba Walker coming up in the ranks, the Heat are going to have their hands full in this series, but as long as Dwayne Wade stays healthy and LeBron James still plays like the monster he is, the Heat should get the win in 5 games. Next up, the number 3 Toronto Raptors take on the number 6 Brooklyn Nets, and this series will be the best first-round series in the Eastern Conference this season. They're both 2 evenly matched teams, and in my mind, 2 of the most underlooked teams in the postseason. Toronto is one of the most underrated teams in the NBA. Kyle Lowry is an absolute stud, and with a win in the series, they would definitely give Miami a run for their money. However, the Brooklyn Nets decided to show up. We all know how horrible they were at the beginning of the season after they got Paul Pierce and KG. Mason Plumlee is my pick for the Rookie of the Year this year, and winning this series can guarantee them an Eastern Conference final appearance. This series will be the most interesting to say the least, and I have the series going to 7 games with the last game and the first round going to the Brooklyn Nets. Finally, the number 4 Chicago Bulls take on the number 5 Washington Wizards. With Derrick Rose out the picture again, it seems as if Tom Thibodeau will have to rely on that defense yet again for a win. What could be potential another physical first-round matchup for the Chicago Bulls. And let's not forget, Joakim Noah is playing some of the best basketball of his career, setting career highs in points, rebounds, and assists this season. John Wall is one of the most underrated players in basketball, and he's finally reached the postseason for the first time in his career, and it'll be interesting to see how he's able to transition from just wins and losses not mattering to a win-or-go-home mentality. However, I think that Chicago is going to take advantage of the experience factor and beat the Wizards in 5. Let's dive into the Western Conference, my personally favorite conference this year, and let's talk number 1 San Antonio Spurs against number 8 Dallas Mavericks. This series is going to be physical. It's going to be brutal, and it's going to be tiring for whoever comes out on the winning side. On one hand, you have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, the big 3 in the West and the reigning defending Western Conference champions. And on the other hand, you have the most unguardable player in basketball in Dirk Nowitzki. Some say the winner of this series has the best chance of winning the NBA title for the West, but I have to disagree. You have many great teams in this year's postseason, and they all have valuable assets in multiple categories. But in this series, considering that my life isn't on the line for this if I get it wrong, I'm taking the upset, and I'm going to say the Mavericks take it in 6 or 7. I'm going to say 6. I think the Mavs has what it takes to represent the West once again in the NBA Finals. They're one of the most exciting teams in professional basketball, and I think it's about time that Dirk gets that second ring. Moving on to the second matchup here, the number 2 Oklahoma City Thunder versus the number 7 Memphis Grizzlies. Do I even have to try and make a case for Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and the Oklahoma City Thunder at this point? They've been playing out of this world. Kevin Durant just won his 4th NBA scoring title, and Russell Westbrook has proven himself to be the best point guard in the game, not including Derrick Rose. But we have to take the past into account on this one. The Memphis Grizzlies have given the Oklahoma City Thunder a lot of trouble in the postseason. We all remember last season's meltdown by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the second round of the playoffs last season. But off of the season we've seen of the Thunder this year, and I'm talking about the entire team at this point, not just these two players, it will be hard to believe anybody can take the Thunder down in the Western Conference at this point. I have the Oklahoma City Thunder winning back their redemption, but in dominating fashion. I have them winning the only sweep in the first round this season, the Thunder in 4. Next up, the number 3 Los Angeles Clippers face off with the number 6 Golden State Warriors, another great series in the West. Remember when I told you the West had the best matchups? I wasn't lying. The Clippers have that fire underneath them, and with the talent that they have, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, and Blake Griffin, it's hard to count them out of any series, especially when it's with Steph Curry. But in order for Curry and company to win this series, he's going to need some major help from the bench. And I'm talking about Harrison Barnes, Andre Iguodala, David Lee, since Andrew Bogut went down with that injury. I have the Clippers winning in 6. And finally, to wrap it all up, the number 4 Houston Rockets playing the number 5 Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers have so much potential, and I don't want to see them get bounced this early in the playoffs, but they're playing a more athletic team in the Houston Rockets. Dwight Howard and James Harden are looking to come back from that bounce that they had last year, and they're playing some of that incredible basketball. But I feel it's hard to say that the Blazers are going to get bounced in the first round, but it's going to happen. I feel that the Blazers are going to feel that experience factor kick in, and the Rockets are going to take this one in 6 as well. Let me know what you guys have to think. What do you guys have to say about this year's first round in the NBA playoffs, and I'll talk to you on the next one. You're checking out the PTE Sports. I'm going to peace out, and you stay classy, YouTube. Peace.